Did you know that our communication is difficult, right? Communicating with our partners, non-sexual communication is not easy. But did you know that sexual communication is far more difficult? I think you did know that, but I want to show you why. And I want us to improve, as you know, our sexual communication and of course our non-sexual, but we're focusing on sexual communication. So let's see how we can identify some of our problems in sexual communication, the barriers, and let's see whether we can find out how to improve it. I'm going to probably talk about another questionnaire tomorrow, not today. Today we're going to go over some general facts to find out what does it mean to have a barrier in sexual communication. When we have an issue with communication, there is a threat to ourself, there is a threat to our partner, and there is a threat to our relationship whenever we try to communicate. So we're scared. Uh-oh, what is it going to do to me? We're scared. Uh-oh, what is it going to do to my partner and to the relationship? That is why we have issues with communicating, which is why guys more than women, and we already know that, studies show that, and remember, if you want the studies for this, let me know, I'll send it to you. The guys have a more difficult time communicating. And I'm not saying that women are good, because we have some women that are not, and we have some women that are, but far more women are better at communicating than men. I'm sure you know that too. So that threat to ourself and to our partner and to the relationship is why we have a problem with communicating. We're scared of checking out the issue because how it's going to affect me, my partner, or the relationship. And for some, it's much more than others. Remember, go back to the personality type that you have, the personality trait. That will explain this in more detail to the degree on how much this affects you. But in general, right now, we all have barriers to sexual communication. And the area that we have that barrier in is because of a fear of that communicating affecting us personally, affecting our partner, and the relationship as a whole. The self. When we're concerned about ourself, it's because it makes me feel worthless. Sometimes when you're communicating, some people feel worthless communicating. Isn't that sad? When you're trying to say something to someone, the person themselves feels that when they're exposing that issue, that it's bringing them down. That is so sad. But that is one of the reasons why we as individuals, not all of us, some of us, communicate. We feel worthless. And if you're feeling worthless, please, that has to be addressed. All of these issues need to be addressed. We do not want to use communication poorly. We want to use it in the best way we can, not only sexually, but non-sexually also. And no communication should make you feel worthless. Makes you feel weak. That means you're not strong. You don't look like you're the lion in the relationship. And sometimes you don't have to. So looking strong and looking weak, I know that might be a gender role thing. As individuals, I don't believe looking weak should be an issue. It should really be more in getting the information of what you're trying to communicate across to the person. Feeling not normal. Some people say they don't feel normal. Ashamed. Some people feel ashamed when they're communicating. And again, that is a deep-rooted problem, deep-rooted reason for that. There should be no reason why you are ashamed when you're trying to communicate. I don't care what it is. I believe conquering those fears, conquering that shame, conquering that life issue, which we're all going to have, it's going to come and go, right? They come, they go, another one comes and goes. So conquering that is what I think life's about. We're here to make ourselves better, get ourselves better in communicating, and have better relationships, lifelong relationships where we can be happy, everlasting, right? Everlasting, forever, right? So sometimes some people feel badly about themselves. They feel bad, right? They might not feel ashamed, but they feel bad that, oh my gosh, I feel inferior, right? We don't want that to be something that someone experiences. But sometimes the reason why someone does not communicate is they don't want to feel bad. And it's okay to feel bad, but it depends on the degree. If you're feeling too bad, get some therapy, get some help so that you're not feeling bad about communicating, because it's really not a matter of feeling bad. It's, again, more about getting your point of view across to your partner. Feel like a failure. Now, failure is a big one for me because I believe we all have to fail. Failing is where you learn. If you don't fail, you will never learn. So failing is a must. And I know some people were brought up that failing was a crime. You can't fail in your family. That is absolutely wrong. Please, I hope you're not teaching that to your children. You have to fail. It's getting up that matters. It's getting through that failure and walking yourself and learning from that failure that matters. We all should know that by now. Failing is not a problem. So when someone says to themselves that they feel like a failure when they're communicating, that needs to be addressed. Inadequate, feeling inadequate, not feeling like, again, you're a superwoman or something. I don't know. Feeling inadequate, these are feelings that you should not be feeling to a main degree. It might be a small degree, but if it's a small degree, you can handle it. You can handle the communication. But if it's to a big, major degree, you might have to get some help. Absolutely not acceptable to feel inadequate. Now, that is for self. Partner. Sometimes someone says or feels it will make their partner feel worthless. So communicating to their partner, their person, again, sounds like someone's agreeable, right? That personality is worried about the partner feeling worthless. I am telling you, that is probably such an agreeable personality, because there's some personalities that I know, that hopefully that you actually checked out, that will not make a big deal about the other person feeling worthless. Now, there should be some concern about your partner's feelings. Agree. That's why we want to do it gently. Making my partner feel worthless sounds to me like an extreme. So that sounds like a particular personality issue. But please don't worry again about the person feeling worthless. It's how you deliver it. You've got to be very gentle. Partner might also feel like a failure. Again, you're worried that your partner might feel like a failure. Vulnerable. You're worried that your partner might feel vulnerable. Okay. Again, these feelings about your partner, I just think that's over the top. I really believe that partner feeling vulnerable should not be the main worry. The main worry should really be about you and getting your information across, but how you deliver it. That's the more important point here. Some people will feel that their partner will feel guilty. Depends on what the topic is, right? If the partner is supposed to feel guilty, let the partner feel guilty. That should not be a reason or an excuse for you not to communicate. Again, agreeable comes to mind. Incompetent. So you're worried that the person might feel incompetent. I guess it's my personality kicking in right now, feeling that, okay, and ... Yeah, feeling incompetent, worried about your partner, embarrassed, worried about your partner. Okay, I get it, but it should not be to a major degree. Yes, you're worried about your partner. So again, delivery is what is the most important, concern that you should have, how you deliver it, and even where you deliver it. You've got to find a place and a time, right? The timing to deliver or to communicate. It should not be just random. You should plan that out, how you're going to communicate, and make sure that your partner is actually happy, right? In a good spot, in a good place emotionally, before you try to communicate, especially if it's something very serious. Or inadequate. You don't want your partner to feel inadequate at all. Again, that to me means being considerate in terms of where, when, and how you deliver that communicating issue or communication. Relationships. Okay, so when we are feeling threatened in the relationship, it makes the relationship sort of like, you don't want the two of you to feel frustrated in the relationship, right? So that frustration, I know that I can't get my information across, I can't get my message across. That getting frustrated, I know that is a reason why people do not communicate in a relationship, especially if you don't know the person. If you don't know the person that well, you're probably going to say, forget it, I don't want to. Please understand that feeling frustrated is basically normal, right? Hopefully not to a great degree, but don't run away from that fact that you're going to both feel frustrated. Hopefully you're mature enough to know, okay, yeah, there'll be some frustration, but you can get through it with maturity, okay, and with being open and being honest. In the relationship, someone can get angry. Now that's huge. I did a talk about anger. We've got to be able to not angry. Men and women, please. Anger gets you nowhere, and you really can't think and you really can't make decisions when you're angry or when you're too emotional. So anger is one of those things you do not want to face when you're trying to communicate. So I'm going to encourage you, men and women, take away the anger. If you cannot make us argue. Yeah, if you bring up something, you're going to probably argue. But again, how do you argue? You want to argue maturely, like two grown adults that can handle the situation. Now, of course, depending on their personality, you're going to find that they can't handle it and they're going to argue back and forth, nag. And it's like, no, you don't want that. So remember, try not to argue. You're going to be mature. You're going to count to 10. You may get up and say, excuse me, walk away, or get therapy again if you cannot manage your arguing. Bring up past issues. Yeah, when you start communicating in a relationship, bringing up the past is so easy, and I'm going to encourage you not to bring up the past. I know how tempting it is, but let's be, again, mature, let's be wise, and think of the future of the relationship. Because if you bring up the past, oh my gosh, some people go back 10 years, 20, 20 years, 100 years. No, you can't. Even though, yes, some people say the past predicts the future. I don't believe that. I believe people can change. People can become better. People can become such good people that the past was what actually made them become such different and good people. So please understand that bringing up past issues to me is a no-no, unless utmostly important. But otherwise, it in the past and leave those issues, which should have been resolved actually, and if not resolved, go to therapy together. Okay, counsel. Another relationship issue is showing differences in the relationship. Yes, we can see the difference when we talk about an issue and we communicate and we can say, oh my gosh, this person is dot dot dot. This person is this person is that. I didn't know that. It's by communicating you get to know what the person is like, but you need to know your differences so that you know, is this the relationship I want to be in? So please communicate, ask your questions, know that you are supposed to know your differences. All right? You don't have to know every single small detail difference, but the general big ones you should know. Okay? So show differences in our personal values. So the differences in your personal values really important to know. You've got to know what makes you you and what makes the other person the other person. Reveal core differences between the two of you or the relationship. The core differences. Again, some people are scared to reveal that. You want to hide it. Don't hide your differences. Otherwise, you'll be miserable in the future because you're just going to keep on hiding it, walking on eggshells, and you're going to feel, oh my gosh, this is hell. Please don't hide your core value. Don't hide who you are. You have to, again, to a certain extent, show who you are by being who you are and loving who you are. Number one, loving who you are and finding a person that can accept and love you for who you are, right? That's what we want in the relationship. Okay, so that's something that we need to be aware of, but I also want you to be aware of 10 sexual barriers, all right?